Hi there. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That gentleman getting his close-up is...
Eric Zandona in Vancouver, Washington.
I don't mind telling you, man, that was a little creepy, that move.
Sorry. I don't need trying to wait for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
Yeah, I know. Jeez, Mr. De Niro or DeMille. Eric, again, I love throwing unusual stuff at you. And tonight, we are going to have something that you folks may never have heard of, okay?
Yeah.
You've heard of mezcal, you've heard of tequila, you're starting to hear about raicilla. Here on our show, we're starting to... We've explored Bacanora extensively in the last year or two.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a whole different animal, boys and girls. We are going to try and taste Mazot Palmilla.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're asking yourself, what the hell is Palmilla and why should I care? Well, for you folks out of Chihuahua who have had Sotol, for those of y'all in South Texas and up in Austin who have had Texas Sotol, okay, this is literally Sotol outside of its own denomination of origin.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's explain. This is one of those we're gonna have to explain the rules, the ground rules, before we actually taste it. Okay, the way this works is, this is the distilled Sotol. It's Daslerian Wheelery. A lot of folks are familiar with those terms.
Yeah.
Not Daslerian Texanum, which is the Texas Sotol that grows on this side of the border. And I've had actually one excellent version of that. But in any case, this is at 47 alcohol by volume.
Yeah.
And apparently this distiller has a long history of making what they call Palmilla. Okay, it's made from the same plant, but it's made in Sonora. Okay, technically outside of the Sotol denomination of origin. So this is wild stuff, boys and girls. And this is technically unaged, so it's a blanco. Again, it's some people like to call it a cousin of tequila. It's not really. It's a whole other plant. I've had some lovely renditions of Sotol from the Jaques family that makes Por Siempre. And for those of you old timers, remember Don Cuco Sotol. And for me, I love Sotol. I always have. I've actually been quoted extensively on Sotol. To me, it was always the best of both worlds from mezcal and from tequila. But what I loved was how in the desert Southwest, where I lived when I first was exposed to Sotol, you know when you can smell rain before it happens, like when you're in West Texas or in New Mexico. That's what to me Sotol represented. It's just lovely, the aromas coming out of it. Now I'm using my Stasel Jarrito for tequila. I'm not using the mezcal one. Now, what do you think, Eric? Because I know you said it was a while that you've had Sotol.
Yeah. No, this is really nice. The thing about this Sotol and the last one that I had that I remember. So I haven't been to West Texas and to this area where Sotol grows, or into like Chihuahua and all that area, but just smelling it sort of transports me there in my imagination. I've seen pictures.
I love it.
I've seen pictures of the land and the brush and the Sotol plants growing and the mountains in the distance. And this smells like land. It smells not dirt, but it smells like the land.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I love about certain spirits, is that it's not just tasty, and it's not just, but it captivates you and it transports you to a place. even if you've never been there and seen it and smell it, you smell this and I'm like, this is what the land has to be like.
Oh my God, Eric, you're such a romantic. I love that.
Yeah.
But see, that feeling, that those exact words, that whole framework is exactly what I experienced in my first try of Sotol.
Yeah.
The story, and again, this is not Sotol per se. It's considered Palmilla. Okay. Yeah. If you follow us on Instagram, Tequila Aficionado, or you follow me, Mike Morales, you've seen pictures that I've taken of the Sotol plant where it looks akin to the yucca. And I think the math goes like this: one plant equals one bottle of liquid, and it has an unusual quiote. And I've taken pictures of it. We a couple of years ago we did we were on tour and we stopped in New Mexico and you can see them. A lot of people like here in Texas they'll grow agave as ground cover. Well, in the rest stops and in parts of West Texas and New Mexico, it's just growing wild. And believe it or not, the wine country area of Central California, in the hills, they'll use it because it stops landslides. Yeah. So you see them growing on the sides of the hills. And this is the one plant that I will tell you that it represents exactly where it grows. In other words, when we talk about terroir, I think Sotol / Palmilla, to me, is probably the best representation of what terroir can be. Yeah. Because it's the same plant, maybe it's a cousin of the same plant, but if it's in a different state and it's in a different microclimate, it's going to taste like where it's in. Mm-hmm. The Texas Sotol, I can tell you, is completely different and very beautiful compared to Sotol from Chihuahua. So you're absolutely correct, and that's I think the charm of the Sotol / Palmilla is that it transports the sipper, the person, because I got to tell you, this is exactly what happens to me. Yeah. Wow. It makes me miss where I used to live, because now I live in Texas and it's just hot and humid, but it's green, it's vegetal, right? Yeah.
But it has, like you mentioned, it has this quality to it. There's a greenness to it, but there's this scent that, like, who knows what it is, but it's like it's about to rain. It hasn't rained yet.
Yeah.
It's about to rain.
See, that's
I don't know what the smell is.
Well, let's make it rain, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, that's different. Oh, that is strikingly different.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I got to tell you, this tastes different than what I've had from Chihuahua.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really different. It's not that surprising in that because they're using natural fermentation. So the yeast in Sonora, in the town of Bacanora, where this Palmilla is made, is obviously going to be different than Durango or Chihuahua, where other Sotol, or Texas, where other Sotols are made. So, while it has that really bright green, like herbaceous nose, you get that right at the beginning, and then it transforms to like all these spices and like cinnamons and earthy, woody.
There's a minerality in there too. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
What am I getting? I'm getting it in the retronasal. I also got it on the, and again, I'm using the Stasso Jarrito for tequila, so it's going to have a higher nose and a shorter mouth or smaller opening. I'm getting, there's an unusual flavor and scent that I've not had in other sotols and other, or palmillas for that matter. Um, and I can't pinpoint it.
So this is my sense because I think I'm maybe picking up on the same thing. So I think that might be the cooked flavor of the Sotol plant. In the same way that like in some mezcals you get this sort of like baked yam flavor
Right.
because that's sort of what cooked agave tastes like.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's this sweet kind of root vegetable, like sweet cooked root vegetable flavor, like a cooked radish or something like that. That I think that might be the plant itself. I think
Yeah,
that's my guess.
I think you're right. I think there's a certain gaminess that I've not had before
Yeah.
in the other iterations of Sotol. Now, while we're at it, let me see what the label has all the information. By the way, these were made possible by Borderland Spirits, who is the importer. Michael Hurley, who made this happen. Now we know it's distilled in copper and stainless steel stills. They're using the same equipment in which they make their bacanora. Okay.
Yeah, so these are, I believe it's all copper.
On this one,
Yeah.
well, because that's what it says here. Does it say all copper? Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Okay.
still
All right.
copper.
Cool. All right. Okay. So that's different.
Yeah.
It's deep in the heart of the Sonoran Sierra Madre Mountains. The Chacon Estre family has been passing down the traditions, techniques, and secrets of distillation to 4 generations near Bacanora. Though known for their bacanora in abundance of Sotol, that's Daslerian Wheelery, which is the same one they're using in Chihuahua,
Yeah.
grows in the highest elevations of the family ranch El Torreoncito, and Palmilla is a traditional Sonoran name for spirits distilled from the Sotol plant, also known as the Desert Spoon in Arizona, or in New Mexico as well.
Yeah.
The average pina weighs 50 kilograms. That's 30 to 70 kilograms.
Pounds.
50. Yeah, well, they've got it in kgs as well. I don't know why they did that.
Oh, maybe it's a typo. 50 pounds is 30.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 50 so, okay. The pinas are cooked in a volcanic rock underground oven. That explains it. With oak and mesquite wood fermented from wild yeast and double distilled in copper stills. So it could be the rock that I'm tasting and sensing, maybe the wild yeast. Again,
Yeah.
everything has. Wow, I mean, it's exactly what you said at the beginning in your whole romantic, in your poetic way. That's exactly what Sotol does.
Yeah.
And for me, this is the one that transports.
Yeah.
And I've had some. I mean, we've had beautiful bacanoras and other mezcals and tequilas that did this, But for me, this Palmilla Sotol, that there's just that special animal that. I've never had Sotol made out of Daslerian Wheelery in Central California, but I can only imagine what that tastes like. Because you have a whole other region, a whole other microclimate in that area.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what to make with that plant. They just use it for ground cover.
Yeah.
I swear. My sister has blue agave out on her front lawn in Orange County. But wow, this is. And there's a whole lot going on. Look at it. It's a visually attractive. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Just the nose alone.
I know. There's so much flavor and aroma. It's just chock full. I mean, again, like we said with some of the other ones, you wouldn't mix this with a cocktail or no.
Oh, no.
There's so much flavor. Like, you don't even need like a full pour. It's just so packed full. And it's 47% ABV, but like, who would guess, right?
Yeah, no, they're like Batuk that we had previously. The Espadin or the Yakiana. It's just lovely. Now this one is, I get a more of a, and again, I think it's just the Sotol / Palmilla is that's the characteristic, is
Yeah.
it tastes exactly like where it's been growing.
Yeah.
Okay, wherever that happens to be, West Texas, New Mexico, Chihuahua, it's going to
Mhm.
taste different, and even the microclimates, it really is influenced
Yeah.
by the area that it grows in.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, one of the things, I mean, for people who haven't seen the Sotol plant, it has a lot more leaves than, say, like an agave. The leaves are smaller, so you get a lot more pencas, when they're cutting the piña up. And so there's a lot more of that kind of like chlorophyll kind of character that you get. There's a lot more greenness to it, a lot more fresh cut grass, all that sort of character. But just it makes a really fantastic spirit, and it's also related, I believe, to
Asparagus.
related asparagus, but also the artichoke.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and so when in times past, people in that borderland region in Sonora, in New Mexico, Arizona, in Chihuahua, they would cook these and eat them just like an asparagus. They would peel the pencas off and eat the flesh off the ends. And so, I mean, this is a part of the integral like diet and culture of this whole Southwest region that and we get to taste that in one simple
Yeah.
glass.
This is just, it's lovely. Hey man, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this one's a brand of promise nominee.
I
Wow. And it's a whole separate category. Again, it's not Sotol, it's Palmilla. But
Yeah.
you know what? Get ready for it, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of controversy about cultural appropriation where Texas Sotol is. I will tell you that where it's concerned, I will tell you that the Texas Sotol that I had was from another gentleman who took he had and I think he does now again his own micro distillery in Austin, and he took the time to do his research. He spoke to every one of the famous families who are making Sotol,
Hmm.
and pick their brain and spend time with them, because he wanted to make sure that he was doing it um, doing it to be culturally representative, as opposed to appropriating something that didn't belong. Um, and again, like we talked earlier, uh, Eric, the borders were just something that they were non-existent in those points. The
Yeah.
natives, the indigenous people in that area, they freely walk back and forth between the borders. But this is just so, it's almost like history in a glass, as well as terroir and region, and 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 even the history of the family itself. You know, it's nothing. That's nothing new that they haven't been making. For 300 years.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
wow, where have I been?
So just one fun thought. If you've got the social distance, like shelter in place blues, get yourself a bottle and you'll get transported to a lovely location out in the Sonoran desert, and just wonderful. Just sip on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. This is absolutely. We're gonna. I would hug you if we were close enough. this was this was amazing. This
Yeah.
is really amazing. Again, thank you to Borderland Spirits who made this happen. Look for it in Arizona right now. Again, Michael Hurley went out of his way to make that happen for us. We so appreciate it. Stick with us. We have the rest of the Mazot line where we go back to Bacanora now. So that's our take on Mazot Palmilla. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That gentleman out there is
Eric Zandona in Vancouver, Washington.
You have been crying and emoting here on Tequila Aficionado Media, on all of our networks, on all of our channels. Please subscribe to us if you're watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way, every time we upload a video, which has been a lot of videos this year, a lot of brands competing for that Brand of Promise Award, that way you get notified and you'll see that notification come up on your smartphone. Whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.